The next growing season has begun, and that means it's time to get your gardens ready for a new season of abundance. Don't know where to start? I got you. Hey y'all, my name is Brian here at Redleaf, and today we are going to be amending or refreshing our garden beds for a new season of abundance. And I wanted to show you guys how we do it. A long season of growing so much food can quite literally take the life out of a garden bed. Growing all of those plants, all of that food takes a lot of nutrients away from the soil. And by the time a new season hits, it definitely needs to be replenished for more plants to grow to their fullest potential. And that's where we, the gardener, step in to give the garden beds that extra boost they need to get through the season. Not only get through the season, but thrive through the season. For this video in particular, I am going to be focusing mostly on our raised beds. The way that you would prepare or amend a raised bed is going to be a little different than how you prepare a container garden or an allotment straight into the ground. The main reason being, raised beds are raised off the ground, and depending on how high the edge of the raised bed is, you're going to need to fill in a lot of soil. So there are certain things you want to do to really not necessarily break the bank, because getting that much soil can be so expensive, but also to help you in the long run, so whatever you add in doesn't break down super quickly over time. Most soil mixes are made with peat, coconut coir, compost, humus, perlite, or sand. Now, the sand in particular is a really great material to add into your raised bed mixes for two reasons. One, it adds a lot of mass to your soil. It takes up quite a bit of room, so you won't necessarily need to add in or supplement that much more soil. And two, it adds really wonderful drainage to your soil, so your beds don't necessarily get too damp or waterlogged. Some plants don't necessarily like that much moisture in the soil, and also that much moisture within the bed itself for prolonged periods of time makes the material within it break down that much faster. So we like sand. Sand is our friend. Now, our raised beds are actually made up of a mix of like peat moss, wood chips, perlite, compost, ooh, and worm castings. We love worm castings over here. Worm castings are essentially poop, worm poop. It is so rich, it is so nutritious. Plants absolutely love it. Talk about abundance. We love worm poop. So we do have a lot of soil in this bed already, but throughout the season, it has broken down quite a bit. And you can really tell because I see a lot more of the edge of my raised bed than I did this time last year after I amended it. Naturally, biodegradable materials, organic materials break down over time. It's just what happens. So it is so important that at the start of each season, you go ahead and amend your beds to add that extra goodness for a new season of abundance. So today, I'm going to show you how we do it. Now, I have gone through and plucked out any pre-existing plants that were already growing here um, that I don't want growing in this bed. There are some bulbs, I believe some camassia growing at the corner of this bed that I want to leave because I planted that last year. Honestly, when I made my garden plan, I forgot I planted that last year, but she is sprouting over there, and I want to see how she do. They make really pretty flowers, and apparently the tubers are edible, so we love to see that. Something I do want you to notice are all the decaying or dead bits of plants long past in this garden bed from last season, and also the straw that I used as mulch from last season. I am not replacing or getting rid of any of this because this, y'all, this is food, not just for the plants, but for all the life that exists underneath the soil. This is stuff that they break down over time and it just turns into goodness. So when you mulch a bed, I wouldn't recommend scraping off that pre-existing layer that you had before. Honestly, whatever you're amending with, just lay it on top. You'll see how I do it in a moment, but just lay it on top and then add a new fresh layer of mulch after that. Now let me show you how I prepare my amendments. Here is our compost pile. Well, it's actually 3 piles of compost, but this is the compost that's actually ready to use in the garden. Our compost consists of kitchen scraps, vegetable garden scraps, grass clippings. We do also have chickens, and our chickens provide us with so much goodness for the garden, and more specifically our compost. The bedding of the chicken run is wood chips, and the bedding of the coop and where they roost for the night is pine shavings. And the chickens do a beautiful job of covering it all in so much chicken manure. So every time I clean the coop and run, I throw it all in the compost along with all of the other stuff that I mentioned earlier, and all of it breaks down for about 6 to 8 months before it gets to a point where we feel comfortable using it in the garden. You don't want to use anything covered in chicken manure as soon as you get it, because it is literally so potent, so powerful, it can literally burn your plants by overloading them with too many nutrients, and you don't want that. So you have to let manure decompose and rot a little bit so it doesn't overwhelm your garden beds. So this is the result of all of that. It's been a few months now. I do have a 3-bin composting system. I will make a video, a new updated video on what a 3-bin composting system looks like, and how to compost, because I know so many of you want to know about composting. I think it is the most amazing thing you can do for yourself and your garden to be a lot more self-sustaining and eco-friendly. Now that I have all of this magnificent compost here, I'm actually going to add in a few more things into this pile to make my amendment for my garden beds this season. I'm going to add in worm castings, worm poop, more poop, and I'm actually going to add in a little bit of sand. I haven't done that in the past, but now seeing how much my soil breaks down throughout the seasons, I think it's a good idea to add sand again, to add some of that mass, that more of that structure into the soil, along with some added drainage. Before adding everything in, I'm actually going to get in here and just flip this up a little bit, loosen it up. After a while of sitting, it can get pretty tight and dense. Want to fluff it up. I'm going to add in some worm castings. We are very fortunate that we live close to a lot of garden centers and horticultural centers here in Tennessee. So we're able to source this locally, which is incredible. This season we did start getting it by the bag. Usually I do like getting it by the yard, but they didn't have that available this time. Just gonna throw it on there. Look at how dark and rich worm castings are. Oh my God. What a gorgeous color. Here, let me just show y'all the beauty that is worm castings. Oh my God, it's literally warm. Ugh, worm castings are so beautiful. Ugh, poop. We love poop. But here you can also notice that like the worm castings, they are pretty, this stuff's pretty dense. So I feel like adding a little bit of sand to this is really gonna help loosen it up. In an ideal world, I'd be able to prep all of the amendment that I need for the entire garden in one go, but I really only allocate this much space to do it in the garden, so I'm only going to prepare as much as I possibly can, really, until I empty this, and then we kind of just reset from there. Love. Abundance. Now I'm going to add 1 bag of all-purpose sand. Just one. Don't want to get too crazy with the sand. Whew. It's given a Oreo milkshake. Now we mix it. Oh my God, it's so heavy. My back. This is probably the most laborious part of the process. The mixing. And there you have it. We have this year's soil amendment. Oh, so lovely. Abundance. Now I'm just gonna scoop up some buckets and lay it in my bed. Gorgeous. I think I pulled a muscle. Drop one here. Now I'm just gonna spread it nicely. The babies are gonna be so happy this year. Oh, I can't wait. This isn't like a special rake or tool or anything. It's a rake that I accidentally broke in half. So now it's more of a little handheld situation. But honestly, I vibe with it. I like it. It's nice. This is so rich. So beautiful. Never in my life did I think I'd get excited over dirt and worm poop. But here we are. This is maturing, I guess. Look at how beautiful that soil is. Oh, oh, she's amended. That looks gorgeous. I mean, look at the difference. Before, after. Now, the final step in all of this is actually going to be to lay a new fresh layer of mulch over this bed. The reason I want to do that is to protect the soil from the harsh rays of the sun when they come, to stop the soil from evaporating as quickly, so it'll help retain moisture within the soil, and two, it'll help protect the ecology of the soil, those precious microorganisms that create the life underneath our feet. They are so valuable, they are so precious. We gotta do what we gotta do to protect them. For vegetable beds specifically, I like to use hay or straw because they don't leach that much acidity into the soil the way wood chips do or wood mulches do. Fortunately enough, we have a pole barn in the back end of the property where the people before us that lived here stored all their hay. So I have all this really wonderful aged hay that I use for my beds. Abundance! Hey. That pole barn is so far. I dread going down there. But very grateful to have such an amazing source of this invaluable material. Because especially if you're in a more urban setting or suburban setting, hay might not necessarily be the easiest thing to source. So thank you. Thank you, source. Thank you, universe. Something I am so grateful for with this hay is that it does not reseed. I have been using this hay for years now, and it has never reseeded on me, so love that for me. I do like to lay on a nice like 2-inch layer of it, at least. Something very important to keep in mind when sourcing your straw or hay too, you definitely want to make sure that it is organic. You do not want to use anything that's been sprayed, because those chemicals, especially when it rains, they will leach into your soil. You don't want that. Another added bonus with using the straw or hay, my cats hate it. So once this stuff is laid on, they're definitely on top of my beds significantly less. And Bruno, that means do not get up in here and dig this shit up. Papa will be very upset. That is one sexy garden bed. Oh my God. Oh, she's ready. I can't wait to plant in you. Bask in her glory. What a gorgeous, amended, freshly prepared garden bed. Ready for a brand new season of abundance. And with that, our garden bed is ready. Abundance. Oh, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any more questions on how to amend your beds, how to prepare for a new season, please drop them in the comments and questions below. If you enjoyed this video, drop an abundance down in the comments. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope this inspired you and gave you all the insight you need to get started this season. Let's get out there and grow some abundance. Bye, y'all. Bruno, you are just the cutest. You like laying in daddy's beds?